Hi, my name's Jake, and I am a deadbeat dad. This video is by far the one that is the most difficult to make, so I'll be trying to keep it short and to the point. Up until this point in the story, my battles had largely been directed at either the state or my inability to send enough money in child support to my family. My ex and I had more or less been working together. The relationship was obviously strained, but I still trusted her well enough. I had also just moved from Washington, D.C. to Oklahoma to live with my mom. I managed to get a better paying job than I had in D.C. and was saving a lot of money by living with family. As such, I was able to start sending my ex $1,300 a month, far more than I ever had been. I was also able to start paying off the massive amount of debt that I had accrued in D.C. Things were looking up, way up. Due to me being unable to meet my obligations with my ex in the past year or so, she had also reapplied for child support a few months prior, a decision I didn't disagree with. It's why I moved to Oklahoma to better prepare for. I was now just waiting on the financial paperwork to appear and to go through the process, but correctly this time. Unfortunately, the letter I got from Illinois Child Support Services was not at all what I expected. Instead of getting paperwork for my financial disclosures, etc., I got a letter stating I was $42,000 behind in child support and they were garnishing my wages for $2,200 a month. Naturally, I was completely floored. What I'm about to say will be of no surprise to anyone who is familiar with the child support system. You see, the order that was created in Virginia in 2015 wasn't rescinded. That was too difficult to get done in time, so we had its enforcement stopped. When my ex reapplied for child support, she didn't set out to create a new order, she simply had them start enforcing the old one. Because of that, since I had been paying my ex directly through bank transfers for the last 3.5 years, none of that money counted towards the now active support order. Furthermore, they calculated the back payments from the original $1,700 a month amount in the order, not the amount my ex and I had agreed to amongst ourselves. The entire reason we had the enforcement stopped in the first place was because that amount was way too high. But here it was again, in all its glory, only multiplied by 3.5 years. I'll be frank, I was shitting my pants. I immediately contacted my ex and told her there was some kind of mistake, that we needed to have a new order created, and she needed to tell them that I'd been paying support for the last 3.5 years. I mean, this was very easily a jail time level of unpaid child support. Surely that's not what she had intended. Now, gentlemen, we come to the lowest point. My ex told me, and I quote, "You're more than welcome to try and get credit for what you paid, but I won't help you. I deserve that money and a lot more." I absolutely could not believe it. I mean, I had trusted her. I put my faith in her. We by no means got along, but I never doubted her integrity. This wasn't just a matter of her needing money. I mean, she legit needed more money, but how she decided to get it. But just like that, I was now officially a deadbeat dad, and there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. The level of fear and betrayal I was feeling was ungodly. Never in all my life had someone screwed me over as bad as she just had, and there was still absolutely nothing I could do. As bad as our relationship had gotten, as bad as the things we had done to each other was, I never imagined her capable of this level of dishonesty and betrayal. It was shocking and it cut me to the bone. At best, this meant the end of my security clearance and my career. At worst, I was going to jail. I had no idea what to do. I felt completely helpless. The hilarious part is, they were taking so much money from me, I couldn't afford a lawyer to keep them from taking so much money from me. I tried to reason with her. I begged. I screamed. I went through every possible emotion, and nothing. She was not budging. She literally told me that it was my fault for paying her directly instead of against the order we both tried to have stopped. Over those years, I had sent her just over $32,000, and it was all gone. Like it never even happened. It simply vanished into thin air. Now I had to pay that all over again and more. The state of Illinois eventually told me the only reason I wasn't immediately sent to jail was because I was continuing to pay. This meant if I so much as missed a payment, they could and would arrest me. My car got repossessed. Collections started calling. My scheduled investigation for my security clearance was underway, and they obviously had a lot of questions. All the trouble I had went through, all the fight I'd put up in DC to take care of my family, all the struggle, everything I had done was for absolutely nothing. She simply wiped it away for an extra $1,000 a month and the inconvenience of having to have a new order created. If ever there was a time to unalive myself, this was it. The effect this had on me is indescribable. It was bad, really bad. The stress and anxiety ended up greatly affecting my health. The ability to visit my kids was completely eradicated. I struggled daily just to get to work, much less make trips to Illinois. I relied on family for everything. Living on my own was completely out of the question. It was hands down the worst time of my life. So, it's pretty obvious here what my biggest mistake was. Among other things, I didn't follow rule number 6. Don't pay anything to your ex outside of the state system. Secondly, I made the mistake of assuming that if enforcement was stopped, they wouldn't expect there to be payments made towards the order, aka, I didn't know I was still liable. It was a stupid mistake on my part, but again, I thought because I had detailed bank records, etc., that I would be fine should anything come up. By far, though, the biggest mistake I made was trusting my ex. Even as much as we had worked together to make things right with the state, she still managed to throw me under the bus when it mattered the most. This is why I tell you, never, under any circumstances, do you put your faith in your ex. No matter how amicable you may be now, no matter how trustworthy you think she may be, that may not always be the case, and she holds all the cards. All my ex had to do was sit back and let it all play out. She didn't have to lift a finger to ruin my life and make more money. Do you really want to give anyone that level of power over your future? I'll be making more videos down the line about how this affected me personally and how I managed through it, but for now, I'll stick to the logistics. It's a very, very difficult thing for me to talk about without getting jittery and angry. A major reason I'm making these videos is to help me heal from situations exactly like this one. Just putting it out there and having someone, anyone listen, really helps. For that, you have my gratitude. In the next video, I'll be talking about how I approached fighting back against this order and what to do about the massive amount of unpaid support I now owed. I'm going to be upfront and tell you that nothing I tried worked, and it was a huge mess, but hopefully that means someone out there will learn from my mistakes and not bother wasting the time and money on the same things I tried. I really appreciate you listening to this one. I tried to keep it as short and concise as possible, and I appreciate you sticking around to the end. Until next time, goodbye for now.